Another one bites the dust. Pete Hegseth's Pentagon just lost another insider. This time, a Musk-Aligned aide who says he left on his own terms. But sources say he was pushed. With signal leaks, DEI purges, and mounting resignations. Is this discipline, dysfunction, or something far messier at the top? US Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth has lost yet another senior advisor, marking the latest departure from what was once his trusted inner circle at the Pentagon. Justin Fulcher, who served as a senior advisor to Hegseth, formally resigned on July 17th evening after 6 months of service. The circumstances surrounding Fulcher's departure tell a familiar story of conflicting narratives that have become commonplace in Hegseth's Pentagon. 3 sources who spoke to CBS News on Saturday described Fulcher as being ousted from his position. However, Fulcher himself painted a different picture in communications with the Washington Post, claiming his departure was perfectly amicable and that he had always planned to remain within the department for just 6 months.
As planned, I've completed 6 months of service in government to my country. Working alongside the dedicated men and women of the Department of Defense has been incredibly inspiring. Revitalizing the warrior ethos, rebuilding the military, and reestablishing deterrence are just some of the historic accomplishments I'm proud to have witnessed. Still, this is just the beginning.
Fulcher's role at the Pentagon was significant. He had been promoted from Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency to his Pentagon position in April, where he advised Hegseth on personnel and policy matters.
None of this could have happened without Secretary Hegseth's decisive leadership or President Trump's continued confidence in our team. I'm grateful to both, and to the extraordinary civilians and service members who turn vision into action every day.
Chief Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell offered the standard diplomatic response, telling the Daily Beast,
"The Department of Defense is grateful to Justin Fulcher for his work on behalf of President Trump and Secretary Hegseth. We wish him well in his future endeavors."
Fulcher's exit represents just the latest chapter in what has become a recurring pattern of high-level departures from Hegseth's team. The Defence Secretary's office has experienced significant upheaval since he took the helm, with at least 6 aides leaving since January, though defence officials have attempted to downplay these moves as standard transitions. The most dramatic wave of departures occurred in April, following what became known as the Signalgate scandal. 3 senior advisors were escorted from the Pentagon amid a leak investigation after sensitive military plans regarding an attack on the Houthis in Yemen were shared in a chat on the Signal messaging app between Hegseth and other top Trump administration officials. Dan Caldwell, one of Hegseth's senior advisors, Deputy Chief of Staff Darren Selnick, and Colin Carroll, Chief of Staff to Deputy Defence Secretary Stephen Feinberg, were all initially placed on leave before ultimately being terminated. The 3 officials later released a joint statement expressing their frustration with how their service ended.
Unnamed Pentagon officials have slandered our character with baseless attacks on our way out the door. All 3 of us served our country honorably in uniform. For 2 of us, this included deployments to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. And based on our collective service, we understand the importance of information security and worked every day to protect it. At this time, we still have not been told what exactly we were investigated for, if there is still an active investigation, or if there was even a real investigation of leaks to begin with.
The investigation was triggered by several high-profile leaks, including information about Elon Musk's planned visit to China for classified briefings, disclosure of military plans for the Panama Canal, decisions to pause intelligence gathering regarding Ukraine, and details about US carrier movements in the Red Sea. Another notable departure was of John Elliott, a top Pentagon spokesperson who resigned after controversies surrounding the Trump administration's purge of diversity, equity, and inclusion content from government websites. Elliott, who had described DEI initiatives as a form of woke cultural Marxism that divides the force, was demoted after the removal of a web page about baseball legend Jackie Robinson sparked public outcry. The chaos prompted one defense official to tell Politico in April that
there's a complete meltdown in the building. and this is really reflecting on the Secretary's leadership. Hegseth has surrounded himself with some people who don't have his interests at heart.
Despite the ongoing personnel turmoil, Pentagon officials have maintained that these changes represent necessary adjustments. Acting Pentagon Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson characterized the departures as regular workforce adjustments that are a feature of any highly efficient organization.
Secretary Hegseth will continue to be proactive with personnel decisions and will work hard to ensure the Department of Defense has the right people in the right positions to execute President Trump's agenda.
Yet the pattern of departures continues to raise questions about stability and leadership at the highest levels of America's defense establishment, particularly as the Pentagon manages critical operations, including bombing missions in Yemen, and prepares for major budget reviews and military reforms.